You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, B&B fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I want to talk about Ridge Forrester making a horrible choice about Eric Forrester's fate without even discussing it with the rest of the family. This week, he's going to face outrage from literally everybody else in the family, all the other Forresters. But will somebody step up, shove Ridge back, and save Eric's life before it's too late? Let's dig into what's coming soon. And if you haven't already, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. So, if you watched already, at the end of Monday's Bold and the Beautiful on December 11th, we found out what Dr. Finn's been busy doing and also why the CBS soap hasn't given us a specific diagnosis. It's because they're about to pull out a miracle cure and they don't want to get hate mail about hunky Dr. Finn curing cancer that's supposedly incurable. We know it's either cancer, possibly a blood cancer or blood disorder because he's been seeing an oncologist. So that's generally the kind of thing they don't want to delve into because they don't want people mad. So that's why they're being vague and frustrating fans. But back to the plot. The problem is Ridge Forrester isn't willing to give Finn's plan a shot. In fact, he didn't really even want to hear that much about it. So Finn's been hard at work looking at all the case notes he got from Dr. Colby, the main doctor we've seen treating Eric at the house. That same doctor is back on the scene this week on B&B, and Bridget Forrester gets involved in her role as a doctor as well as a daughter this week. And I hate to bring up real world stuff in terms of soaps, but you're really not supposed to practice medicine on your family members, nor psychiatry, like Dr. Taylor Hayes has done with Thomas. I mean, it's not against a law, but it's against the recommendations of the AMA, the American Medical Association's Code of Ethics that guides doctors' behavior. Technically, it's okay for Finn to work on this case because Eric is not his immediate family. Immediate family is siblings, parents. But Bridget, as Eric's daughter, is absolutely immediate family. However, even then, you can do medicine on a family member in case of emergency or when there's not another doctor available with greater expertise than you. Just wanted to get that out of the way because I know a lot of times in the comments we drop in, they shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah. That's why. So Finn has found this experimental treatment to cleanse the blood and then do a transplant. I noticed he didn't say transplant of what? Bone marrow, a lung, something else. They're definitely sticking to gray areas, I'm sure, hoping to avoid fan outrage over them talking about cures that don't exist in the real world. But if it is some kind of blood cancer, which kind of doesn't match the symptoms, but since we're making up cancers at this point, bone marrow donations are common. Finn did say that there would be some discomfort, which is what also had me thinking bone marrow transplant, because that is known to be uncomfortable for both the donor and the transplant recipient. But Ridge just didn't want to hear it. Remember back in Eric's room in the ER, Donna is begging him not to leave. Brooke Logan is begging him not to go, to stay with them. When it was Ridge's turn, he was basically saying, okay, Dad, just go to the light. It's all right. Go. I mean, what? What is up with that? All right, I'm going to tell you what's up. Ridge is going to claim that he knows what his father really wants and no one but him knows. Ridge will reveal this tidbit when he's taking heat from the rest of the family for refusing what could be life-saving treatment for this fatal illness of Eric's. If you watched Monday's episode, you also might have noted both Steffy and Donna looked outraged at Ridge's proclamation that he wanted to let his father die and not put him through this treatment. So that scene's going to pick back up on Tuesday, December 12th, when B&B spoilers say Donna and Steffy both fight with Ridge over his decision. They do not think he's making the right choice. Then on Wednesday, the 13th, Ridge gives Donna permission to say goodbye to Eric because he is stubbornly sticking to his decision to let his father shuffle off his mortal coil. That same day, on Wednesday, Finn again says that Eric could really survive this medical malady if he can start the treatment. Then the next day, on Thursday the 14th, we're going to have Bridget and Thorne Forrester advocating for giving Eric the experimental treatment. I mean, really, Eric is 100% going to die without it. If it were my dad, I would try it because there's not a downside. I'm sure they can medicate for any pain the procedure causes, but alive and healthy is better than dead and gone, right? And that's the chance that Finn is offering. When Eric is absolutely going to die without it, it seems like the risk is worth the risk, right? And that's what the rest of the Forresters are trying to get Ridge to see all week long. But Ridge is going to tell them, per official B&B spoilers, that Eric told him when it's the right time, let me go. He wants Ridge to take him off life support and let him die, is what his son claims. And true enough, Ridge has unplugged him before. I talked about this in a recent video, and I do think that's why Eric gave Ridge the power of attorney, because he knows from experience that Ridge will unplug him. But the thing is, when Eric gave him the power of attorney and said that, he didn't have all the information at the time. Clearly, Eric Forrester wanted to keep on living. I mean, heck, he was trying to live his best life up until the very moment he collapsed. He was making plans for another collection. He felt like there was a lot of other things he wanted to do, but Ridge doesn't seem to be taking into account the fact that Eric didn't make an informed decision when he gave Ridge that medical authorization and basically permission to euthanize him. If Eric had known there was a possible treatment, I think he'd have jumped at it. But he didn't know. He didn't know. And he was certain when he signed that power of attorney that there was no hope. And now there's hope, and Ridge is squashing it. So if it is left up to Ridge, that's it. So by this Friday, Eric's health takes a nosedive, and it sounds like Finn and Bridget are working to save him, but Ridge is their primary obstacle. So my question is there someone in the family that can stand up to Ridge and tell him to stop this? Stop trying to put Eric in the ground when there's a viable chance that he could survive. Even Brooke disagrees with Eric on this, according to official spoilers, and I suspect that other family members are also going to argue with Ridge, even those not listed in the weekly spoilers list. I'm sure the others are going to arrive at the hospital, horrified to hear there's a way to save Eric, but Ridge is rejecting it out of hand. I expect Thomas, Hope, Zende, and Katie also will not like hearing that Ridge is basically signing Eric Forrester's death certificate. They'll probably even shove Luna into some scenes. Even RJ might not back his dad on this. So it sounds like it's going to be Ridge versus all the other Forresters, including a doctor and then another doctor in the family. Can they present a united front and force his hand? Or maybe is there one among them that can convince him to change his mind? I'm guessing only Brooke could get him to listen. So we'll see. Let me know what you think about Finn's miracle cure he's offering and whether you think Ridge is wrong to turn it down. Please subscribe if you haven't and drop your comments below. And definitely come back soon because we're here talking Bold and the Beautiful 7 days a week. And as always, this has been Belinda from Soap Dirt. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.